For the purpose of introducing guests, the chair recognizes a gentleman from Philadelphia County, Senator Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, there's a little bit of buzz in the room right now, and it's not necessarily because we're inching forward to getting a state budget done. Inching forward would be appropriate. But the buzz comes from the fact that we have a special guest amongst our midst. And without going through the blurb that was presented, I'm just going to, if you will, Mr. President, read excerpts of this citation that I have with me here. Whereas Bernard Hopkins is being honored upon capturing the World Boxing Council Light Heavyweight Championship. And whereas a Philadelphia native, that's right, I said it, a Philadelphia native, and I'll say it one more time, a Philadelphia native, I think he's from Philadelphia, if you might want to ask. Mr. Hopkins is the current WBC Diamond International Boxing Organization and the Ring Light Heavyweight Champion and a former undisputed middleweight champion. On May 21st, 2011, he became the oldest fighter to capture a significant belt when, at 46 years of age, he toppled Jean Pascal, who was 18 years younger than him, by unanimous decision and won the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship, having defended a world middleweight title for a record 20 times. Mr. Hopkins is lauded as one of the greatest middleweights of all time. To his great credit, he has accumulated 60 career wins with 34 knockouts. Mr. Hopkins is truly deserving of recognition and praise for utilizing his exceptional ability with diligence and for his tenacious pursuit of excellence. And I want to underscore that, Mr. President, his tenacious pursuit of excellence. Mr. President, it gives me great honor, and I think all of Pennsylvania, we obviously claim him as a Philadelphian, but he clearly is a student, a native son of the state of Pennsylvania. He represents in so many ways what we can all achieve with determination and persistence and with given a chance. Mr. President, I recognize as our guest, Bernard Hopkins.
Chair recognizes the champ.
I like that. I like that. First, I'd like to thank everyone, and I'm honored to be here. I know you have a busy day. I know you have a busy time of the year, especially around this time. I'd like to acknowledge a person in my darkest times, but became one of my times of discipline and also where I wanted to go in the future of my life, and that's Mr. Rudy Battles, who is the active commission for boxing and athletic. And I don't want to put him on the spot, but I got to say something that was positive to me, that he had enough time where others wouldn't visit you because they either threw the key away or gave up on you. And I was that type person coming up where in some cases or most cases I wouldn't blame you. But in spite of that, Mr. Battles, who lived in a neighborhood called Germantown, and he seen me run around in the streets, he seen that I had ability, but I used it in the wrong way. And he used to drive down the street to go to his block, which was the second block of Sharp Neck, which is a second unit block. And he used to say, "Why don't you go to the gym, get off the corner?" And I never knew what we called old guy was doing or what he did. And I realized that he was into boxing or he was into fencing he used to do. But I didn't listen. I didn't listen to a lot of people. Didn't listen to my mother, didn't listen to my father, didn't listen to anybody in the neighborhood that was telling me that I was headed to the wrong direction. But to speed it up, I wound up ending up in a state penitentiary of Greater Fort at 17, a certification as an adult, and then the last 2 years of that 5 years, I wound up in Dallas State Penitentiary, which is further up Wilkes-Barre in Dallas, PA. But I reached out to a guy to come see me because, of course, that's a lonely, dark place that you put yourself in because of my decision, because people's decision. And he came up there, and we sat in the visiting room. And let's remind y'all, I've been out 23 years, walked off 9 years of parole without a parking ticket, and became Bernard Hopkins, the future Hall of Famer. Bernard Hopkins broke records, set records. I say that to say this, it's not really all about me. It's all about having faith in people. I'm not too much of a guy that know everything about politics, but I pay attention. And whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whatever decision we all make together as one, it affects lives. And it affects lives in a big way that we have no understanding sometimes by not actually seeing it physically. But I'm a guy that could have been the status quo, or could have been a statistic. I started off that way, but I seen something, and something turned me around. And I must say that it took more than just being in a box, a 5x8 cell. It took more than just seeing people in situations where I would never want anybody to be. But it took something in me to be able to rehabilitate myself. I needed to know that I wanted to be different. And once I got that discipline, and once I was released in 1988, I transformed that mentality to be incarcerated. There's normally an easy way to say you're gonna never be back, you're gonna be on a straight path, but once you reach society, and once you reach the distractions that good and bad comes as we live in this world, that's when the real tests come, and I've knocked that out. There's people out there, no matter how much I've achieved and how much I have in my bank account and how much that people acknowledge me, I'm humble enough to say that everybody can't be a Michael Jordan. Everybody can't be a Bernard Hopkins. I go in the suburbs, I talk in Delaware, I talk in Pennsylvania, in North Philly, South Philly, and I tell people, you know, everybody can't be Jay-Z. Everybody can't find a quick way out, but if you have ability, then use it to the best ability, because I had enough time to come back and grab my career and make something out of it, but I had to go through some channels of my decision. But it took that man to have faith in me to come up and say, if you want to be a boxer, I'm there for you. I'll direct you to the people to talk to. And he did. And I'm glad that he's healthy and he's alive to see this day where he came up and spent his time, his gas, and showed concern that he knew I had the ability. A lot of people have that ability, but they never get a chance to exploit it because of the decisions we make in our life. So I'm humbled to be here. And I know I'm being long, but I'm humbled to be in this position because I worked to be here. I know I've worked and I've sacrificed and I stayed away from the distractions, trust me, that athletes have in front of us. And I know I am a role model because that keeps me on point. That keeps me on the straight path because I'm in a position now of what? People are watching me. And I want them to watch because that makes me stop at the stop sign. And that makes me go when the light says go, I go. Why? Because I'm being watched. I like that. Because now since I got the light on me in a different way, in a way that I don't have to look over my shoulder, how can I be an example for the obese kids that's eating the bad foods? How can I be an example when people say you're 46, you're in great shape, look at you. You're still fighting like you're 25. Let me tell you how I got there. Because it's easy to say, well, I'm just that good, I'm this, I'm that. But you know how I got there? There were some investments that I made in myself. Like going to the bank, if you put money up, there's one thing about a young kid. They learn about putting money up early and learn to invest and lead a principal and get the interest and live off the interest like the principal don't even exist. So I had to let them know that I ain't just get here because I'm that good. There was a process of investment, stayed away from drugs, don't smoke, don't hang out, don't treat my body bad, relax, take care of myself, deal with the life struggles that we're gonna have whether we like it or not. Just look at this as a candle before I close. The life candle that burns on all of us, we have no control of that not burning. That's gonna burn whether we like it or not. That's the candle lit on this wick. Now your lifestyle, light that candle. Now if the lifestyle of living and the lifestyle is bad on this end, look at this candle being one that burns because we live on this earth, because we've been born. And then a candle that's lit on both sides. Which one gonna burn quicker? So that's why I was blessed, other than being blessed to be good in boxing. But that's why I'm getting what they call the investment. I'm getting the interest that I invested in myself by doing these things I just mentioned. And that's why you see a 46-year-old guy that's boxing that don't have to box for money, I'm proud to say, not bragging. Don't have to box because I owe taxes, proud to say. I'm not boxing because of none of these things that's normally a negative. Know why I'm boxing? Not only because I can. It's because I went back and get some of that investment. And in doing that, I broke George Foreman's record. At that time, he was the oldest champion who beat Michael Moore for the heavyweight championship of the world 15 years ago. And so I thanks for being patient. I know y'all gotta take care of a lot of things that's tougher than boxing. But I just say that no matter if you're Republican or Democrat, that decisions that we make together has a lot to do with how people live tomorrow. Thank you.